All right, we are live right here on the on Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt for the Lakers and Trailblazers game. Trailblazers at the Los Angeles Lakers. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Got a pretty good game for you tonight to two of the best teams in the Western Conference. Right now, we are waiting on coverage of the Celtics and Pacers game to end on ESPN. So that has about a minute and 33 left in that game. Right now, if you guys are wondering, the Celtics are up 112-107 with about a minute and 33 left to go in the fourth quarter. Once that ends, they will be pulling up coverage of the Lakers game, our scheduled game here on Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt, the Portland Trailblazers at the Los Angeles Lakers. In the meantime, I'll talk about some stuff. Beginning with the game tonight, I think the big storyline you must look at when looking at this game is the fact that LeBron James has been playing for up to 45 minutes in the past couple games. We all know that Anthony Davis is out with that injury. He's not going to be back until after the All-Star break. I said it was detrimental when it happened, and we're seeing why, because the Lakers have lost 4 of their last 5, if I'm not mistaken. LeBron, this amazed me, is the only player other than Anthony Davis to average over 20 points for the Los Angeles Lakers. So when Anthony Davis is not on the floor, they only have one guy averaging over 20 points. Now, granted, the Trailblazers only have one guy averaging over 20 points, but that doesn't surprise me with the Trailblazers. In the chat, we got John Mark saying, hopefully the Celtics can close out, and he has put a laughing emoji because he knows I'm a Celtics fan, and he knows that the struggle is real right now. The Celtics can't seem to close out a game in recent weeks. There's about a minute and 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter right now. I'm trying to see. It's always tough to pull up coverage when there's a game right beforehand, but once we do pull up coverage again, we will be broadcasting the game to you. They will not start. I don't think they'll start the Lakers game until the Celtics game ends. That way, we will not miss a minute of the fantastic game that we should be seeing tonight. Guys, I know I did say that, too, real quick, I want to advertise Landon Hammond's show, Fuel to the Fire. I know I said a new episode would be up tomorrow morning. It's looking like a new episode will now be up Sunday morning instead of tomorrow morning. We are going to film tomorrow night, and it should be up tomorrow morning. So we're still waiting on minute and 33 left. There must have been a foul or something in the Celtics game. I'm not really paying too much attention to the game. I'm just waiting for coverage to start on my ESPN app of the Lakers game. That way I can put it right in front of me. Again, guys, I cannot broadcast the game through YouTube. I can talk about the game while I'm watching it. So the best course of action for you guys to watch the game would be to put it in front of you on the TV, on your phone, wherever you can watch the game yourself, and tune into me talking about it. I know we're doing a play-by-play. I know that my timing and I might be lagging out and might be behind from some of you guys, and I do apologize in advance for that. Sometimes my Wi-Fi connection is a little bit slow, and my connection can be a bit slow as well. But I will be calling it as I see it in real time. We have about a minute and 10 seconds left until the Celtics game is over. 53 seconds now in the fourth quarter. It's a 3-point game right now in the Celtics game, if you guys are wondering. 112-109. The Pacers have possession right now. They're looking to close the game out and beat the Celtics. Inside Sabonis. Pacers do not get a 3 rebound for the Celtics. 35 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Now this game is just getting finished with 18 seconds left now. John Mark wants to know, will Dame have 40-plus tonight? Well, whenever I look at if a player is going to have 40-plus, John Mark, I always look at who their matchup is. And right now, Dennis Schroeder is the matchup for Damien Lillard. And that means, to me, I could really see Damien having over 40 points. I don't think Dennis Schroeder is near as good as Damien Lillard. Dennis Schroeder is only averaging 14, 3, and 4 this year, compared to Damien Lillard's 29, 4, and 8. Damien Lillard's one of the best point guards in the league. So I think he could put up 40 tonight. I think he's going to be the main offensive weapon, as he always is, for the Portland Trailblazers. And I think we could see him go for 40-plus tonight just simply because he's going to be guarded by Dennis Schroeder. I don't think they'll put LeBron James on him because then that leaves Derrick Jones Jr. open. It also leaves Gary Trent open, and it's Cantor down low. So the Trailblazers have improved from last year a lot. I believe they're 18-11 this year. And they have improved quite a bit from last year, not even making the playoffs. The year before that, they went to the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. And there's 11 seconds left in the Celtics game, so coverage of our game will be coming up very, very shortly. You will get a play-by-play from me. In the meantime, I am free to take questions from the chat. I am free to take comments from the chat. I will take comments during commercial breaks. I cannot take comments during the live coverage. And I can take comments. I cannot respond to comments until the commercial break, only because I'm going to be focused on what is happening during the game. I will see the comments, and I will remember to respond to them. And I will give my prediction, too, as to who's going to win right before the game. Let me just see where they're at on their live broadcast. I'm just trying to pull this up for you guys right now, so I might not be talking too much as I wait for the broadcast to end and sort of get this up. John Mark wants to know whose Dodgers jersey is that behind me. It's not a player's jersey, so I got that for my birthday one year, and it doesn't have a player's name on it. It's just like basically the spring training jersey for the Dodgers. I really like it though. I wear it primarily to games and things, and I wear it to watch, big games. I wore that all World Series long, believe it or not, this year to watch the World Series. It was sort of like a good luck thing to me if you're a little superstitious, but I wore that jersey every single game of the World Series this year. And it worked. It was the first year I did that, and it worked. So chances are, fingers crossed, as a Dodgers fan, that they make the World Series next year. If they do, I'll probably wear that jersey again every game. I think they went to timeout. I'm going to look on my DirecTV app just to make sure that the Lakers game did not start yet, because if it did, I will just jump right into starting the coverage. I do apologize, guys. I'm trying to make sure. On my ESPN app, it does say that it did not. Actually, let me just make sure. No, okay. ESPN is covering the Celtics game as well. So we are good at the moment. I do not have the coverage of the Lakers game up. If they are playing, please let me know. And I will do my best to actually pull the coverage up in some way, shape, or form. But the only way I can do that right now is through ESPN. There's 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter, so we should be completely fine. And the game should be starting very, very shortly. Again, guys, so I just want to address that I did not do a show this Wednesday. I will be doing a show next Wednesday. I got really busy. I went back to school Thursday this week, so I did not have a lot of time to get a show together on Wednesday morning. I do apologize about that. I'll have a show out to you guys this Wednesday. All right, so there is about 2 seconds left in the game right now for the Celtics and the Pacers, so we're just getting ready for the Lakers game to start as soon as this Celtics game is over. Robert Williams is at the line. He's closing out the game for the Celtics. This game's over. They're going to win by at least 5. Should the Celtics retire Ray Allen's number? That is an extremely good question. Ray Allen is one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. The question being, should the Celtics retire Ray Allen's number? I don't know, because he played the majority of his career with the Supersonics and he played with the Heat as well. I would say maybe that the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Supersonics should retire his number. He won a championship with the Celtics, so I think, and he also won a championship with the Heat. So I think if any team were to retire his number, it would either be the Celtics or the Heat. His first championship came in Boston. Now, you look at another guy like Kevin Garnett, my favorite athlete of all time, any sport, anywhere, just an amazing person. And I love watching Kevin Garnett play. Kevin Garnett spent the majority of his career in Minnesota, the majority of the first half of his career, I should say. And he spent the second half of his career, the majority of it, in Boston. He won his first title in Boston. The Minnesota Timberwolves are not retiring Kevin Garnett's number, but the Boston Celtics are retiring Kevin Garnett's number. So to answer your question, I think it should either be the Celtics or the Heat, because those are the teams that he won the titles with. I think he was with the Celtics for longer, so maybe I would say that the Celtics should retire Ray Allen's number. Yes, John Mark. I do believe that they should. Good question. All right. So the end of the fourth quarter just happened. We are waiting on ESPN's coverage of the Lakers game, which is our game this evening. We are getting very, very close to tip-off, guys. I think the key tonight, guys, honestly, with the Lakers is to limit LeBron James on the field. John Mark says Ray Allen deserves for the Heat to retire his number after that Game 6 shot. And you know what? That Game 6 shot was clutch. In my opinion, it is the greatest call in basketball history. You can talk about, Havlicek steals the ball, Boston Celtics win the championship back in the 1960s, and what have you. I think that the single greatest call in NBA history was the Mike Breen, James no good, Bosh rebound, back out to Allen, his three-pointer, bang, bang. It was iconic. Just as much as the three-point shot, people remember Mike Breen yelling over the PA, if you were watching the television, a lot of people, not only do they remember that shot where he stepped behind the line, but they also remember Mike Breen, because Mike Breen, that was such an iconic call, one of the greatest calls, I think, in sports history. You could say maybe even top 10 greatest calls in sports history on that one. But it was just so iconic, that moment. I remember sitting at home watching Ray Allen make that three-pointer. I wasn't a Heat fan at the time because I wasn't a LeBron fan, to be quite honest with you, until the second half of his career. I and maybe rightfully so, because I was a Celtics fan. I didn't like that we were playing the Heat all the time. And, LeBron was the one that sort of made the Heat, that was like the thorn in the Celtics side. But I do remember watching that Game 6 game, and I remember saying, Ray Allen, I remember him he used to be with the Celtics. That was my initial thought. This guy is still clutch. He was in his late 30s at the time, getting ready to retire, and Ray Allen stepped behind the line, essentially saved the Heat season right there. But I think what's more worth mentioning was how iconic the call was of Mike Breen calling that shot, because Mike Breen, I will always remember that. For as long as I live, I will remember Mike Breen calling the Game 6 shot for Ray Allen. Also, John Mark in the chat says, Diggs sideline touchdown is the best football call. Wow. I would have to think on that. I remember watching the Minneapolis Miracle again, as a Vikings fan, of course I was watching the Minneapolis Miracle. And obviously nobody thought that was going to happen, right? And everybody was stunned that Case Keenum, a backup quarterback, could hit Stephon Diggs, 30, 40 yards down the field on the sideline? It was the defender's blunder. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd really have to think on that. The best football call. The Minneapolis Miracle is a good pick, John Mark. I'm not going to lie to you there. I'd really have to think about the greatest football call I've ever heard in my life. Wow. That might be it. I know my favorite baseball call of all time. Maybe it's a little bit biased. My favorite baseball call of all time comes from my favorite sportscaster of all time, the guy who I idolize myself, and that's Vin Scully. When Kirk Gibson hit the home run over the fence in game 1 or 2 of the World Series in the 1988 World Series against the Oakland Athletics. Oh, we are just getting ready for tip-off, but I remember that. It was over the wall, and Vin Scully said, in a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. And I just thought that was so cool to see. Okay. Let's see if I can pull this up, if it's going to be live or not. If it's not live, then we might have an issue. Let me try reloading my ESPN app because tip-off did start. All right, for the moment, it is not on the ESPN app, which means we are going to move quickly to DirecTV so that I can get the call for you guys. It's weird that it is not on the ESPN app. At the first commercial break, I'm going to check the ESPN app, but for the time being, we're going to be through DirecTV. It's a bit slower, but I will try to do my best here. And at halftime, I will be taking a break as well. All right, so quickly in the game, it looks like the Lakers won the tip-off. Marc Gasol on the perimeter to Schroeder. Gets a screen from Gasol. Schroeder driving in. Schroeder to Gasol in the post. Schroeder down low. Mid-range shot. Schroeder no good. Rebound for the Trailblazers. That was Robert Covington with the rebound. Damien Lillard gets a screen from Covington. Lillard back to Covington on the perimeter. And there is a stoppage of play. Don't know what that was. Maybe a blocking foul for Portland. Portland is sitting 5th in the West. Right now, the Lakers are sitting 3rd in the West as they keep declining without Anthony Davis. Lillard has the ball on the perimeter. Screen from Cantor. Cantor down low. Outside to Gary Trent Jr. for 3. He knocks it down. The first points of the game. 3-0 Portland on a Gary Trent Jr. 3 from the corner. Schroeder now on the other end brings it up to LeBron. LeBron in the post, guarded by Covington. To the perimeter, to Gasol. Morris in the post. Turnaround, Jay. No, oh, that was good. It trickled in. Markieff Morris with the shot. Turnaround, Jay for the Lakers. Damian Lillard on the other end now. To Cantor. Cantor in the post, guarded by Gasol. Cantor out to Derek Jones Jr., I think that is. Damian Lillard on the perimeter, guarded by KCP. Lillard working on KCP on the inside. Mid-range shot for Lillard. It will not go. Rebound, Cantor. Cantor down low to Derek Jones Jr. for the slam. Pardon, I had to see who that number was. Wasn't familiar with that. Gasol on the perimeter. In the post working on Cantor. Gasol, hook shot. Off the glass, will not go. Rebound, Cantor to Lillard. Lillard to Trent. Trent Jr. from the mid-range. He knocks it down. Gary Trent Jr. with a quick start to the game. 7-2 Portland. The Lakers missing two shots so far of their first 4, I believe. James in the post working on Derek Jones Jr. It's stolen by Jones Jr. Covington runs the ball up the court. Gary Trent Jr. for 3. No good. Rebound. Lillard for 3. He knocks it down. 10-2 early. An early run for the Portland Trailblazers right now. And an early timeout for the LA Lakers already. The LA Lakers, 2 for their first 5 shots as we take a commercial break. I'm going to try and find and see if the ESPN app is working now while we're on commercial break. Let's see if my ESPN app will work now. An early run from the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, my ESPN app will work now. Perfect. This is a lot quicker. But Gary Trent Jr. put up 5 points early. Damien Lillard had a 3. Derrick Jones Jr. had a slam. The only 2 people that didn't score were Enes Kanter and Robert Covington for the Portland Trailblazers. And, of course, the Lakers are out to a slow start yet again in Los Angeles. Without Anthony Davis, I was prepared to say this tonight on Field of the Fire. Without Anthony Davis, the Lakers are absolutely nothing without Anthony Davis. That is their key player. You can talk all you want about LeBron being the best player in the league, and you cannot deny that LeBron is the best player in the league, but he can't do it by himself. I guarantee you, I use this analogy all the time because people love to compare Michael Jordan to LeBron James. If Michael Jordan did not have Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, they would not have won 6 championships. In his first 3, if he didn't have Scottie, he would not have won those 3 championships. If he didn't have guys like Paxson that were role players, he would not have won those championships. Right now, the Lakers do not have anybody other than LeBron James, and you can't do it by yourself. We saw the Lakers without LeBron James in that 2018-2019 season, and they did not do well. They didn't even make the playoffs. So without Anthony Davis, the Lakers are in trouble, and it shows here because they are off to a very, very slow start at home. You're waiting to come back from commercial break. Very, very quick start for the Portland Trailblazers. If I'm the Lakers, if I'm the Lakers head coach right now in that timeout, I would have again said just try to get better shots. It almost seemed like they were forcing it on that run first. They're trying to get some shots up, and you need to crash the glass as well. Rebounding. On that first little run there, they allowed Portland to get at least 2 offensive rebounds, and that's not okay. You saw the kick out there to Damian Lillard as we return to the action. James in the post working on Covington. To Schroeder, that's a steal to Lillard. That was a steal by Trent. Covington outside. Lillard from the outside will not go. There was a foul. Looked like a offensive foul on Robert Covington there. So far, the Lakers have had 3 turnovers in the first 4 minutes of the game. Not very good. James in the post working on Derrick Jones Jr. Pump fake by Schroeder. Floater, no good. Rebound, Enes Kanter. Damian Lillard penetrating up the court. Gets a screen from Covington. Gets a screen from Kanter. Back to Kanter. Inside. Kanter gets it to go, but wasn't an offensive foul or a shooting foul. It looks like a shooting foul on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Enes Kanter will go to the line, looking to make it a 12-point game early. And the Portland Trailblazers are out to a run. In the chat, John Mark wants to know if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be an all-star next year. He could be. He could be a reserve. He's not going to be a starter. He's working his way up there. He could very well be a reserve. I'd have to see how he improves, though. Enes Kanter gets the end, won 13-2. It's an 11-point game with 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. 2 points in the first 4 minutes and 3 turnovers for the Lakers. Gasol on the outside. Gets it to James. Screen from Gasol. James from the mid-range. He'll knock it down. Finally, the Lakers get some more points on the board. 13-5. They called that a 3 from LeBron James. I think his foot might have been on the line. Damien Lillard, guarded by KCP, gets it to Cantor, to Trent. Gary Trent Jr. from the mid-range. That won't go. Rebound by Gasol to Morris. To Schroeder, that's another steal. The 4th turnover for the Lakers. Gary Trent Jr. on the other end with the slam dunk. 15-4, Portland. 4 turnovers in the first 5 minutes for the LA Lakers, playing very sloppy basketball at the moment. Gasol on the outside gets it to KCP. Back to Gasol. Gasol for 3. No good. Rebound. KCP saves it. Gets it to James. James back to KCP. KCP for 3. No good. Rebound Morris. Morris puts it up, and that is finally good. 15-6. It's going to be a shooting foul on Enes Kanter, I believe. A lot happening there. Another steal by Gary Trent Jr. The Lakers' 4th turnover in the first 5 minutes of the game. And Gary Trent Jr. off to a hot start. He's got 7 points so far. The Trailblazers have already forced 4 turnovers in the first 5 minutes. It's amazing. Morris going to the line looking for the and 1. Make it an 8-point game. It will not go. And that is a rebound for the Trailblazers. Lillard taking the ball up the court, guarded by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Lillard to Gary Trent Jr., guarded by Caruso now, who checks into the game. Enes Kanter back to Trent. Trent for 3, wanted a foul. No good, and he did not get the foul. James now up the court, guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. In the post on Derrick Jones Jr. James, mid-range, won't go. Rebound, Gasol, and they are going to send that back to Portland as it is out of bounds. Damian Lillard penetrating up the court, gets a screen from Derrick Jones Jr. to Covington. Covington for 3. He'll knock it down. Oh, no, he won't. That was an air ball. Excuse me. LeBron James back the other way. He'll get a layup, make that 15-8. I do apologize. It looks like Covington made that 3. It's now a 7-point game with 6 minutes to play in the first quarter. Damian Lillard up the court. Gets a screen from Kanter. Off the screen, Lillard for 3. No good. Off the rim. Rebound Morris. The Lakers trying to get a comeback going here. To James to Morris. Morris driving in. Morris for 2. He wanted the foul, and it will be Lakers ball as it went out of bounds. He will not get the foul. We saw there the block by James off the dunk attempt by Robert Covington. Beautiful defensive play by James. A lot of times his defense goes undervalued in this league. People want to talk about the offensive prowess of LeBron James, but he can play a lot of defense too. Caruso working on Gary Trent Jr. Gets a screen from Gasol. Caruso from the mid-range won't go. Rebound by Derrick Jones Jr. Looks out to Carmelo Anthony, who checks into the game. Melo knocks it down, but there was a stoppage of play, so it will not count. Looks like a blocking foul on Markieff Morris, who checks out of the game for Kyle Kuzma. As the Trailblazers will get the inbounds pass. LeBron James subs out early. A 7-point lead for the Trailblazers. 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Lillard. Guarded by KCP. Gets a screen from Melo. Off the screen. Lillard fires, and it's good. 18-8, a 10-point lead for the Portland Trailblazers at the moment. Lillard fires his second 3 of the game. 6 points on the board for Damian Lillard early. Caruso guarded by Trent to Morris, who is guarded by Melo. Melo gives it to Schroeder. Back to Gasol. Gasol for 3. No good. That's his second missed 3 of the game. And Got a little scrappy under the basket between Gary Trent and Kyle Kuzma. I don't know exactly what happened there. Kyle Kuzma is throwing his hands in the air. Looked like maybe a foul on Kuzma, an offensive foul, and that's what they will call it. Gary Trent Jr. drawing the foul. He's been active a lot in this first quarter. The inbounds pass to Lillard. Lillard gets a screen from Melo. Lillard to Melo in the post, guarded by Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Lillard driving in on Morris to Cantor. Cantor on the inside, that is blocked, and I believe that was an offensive foul on Lillard. Yes, he lowered his shoulder into Montrezl Harrell, who checks into the game. Caruso brings the ball up for the Lakers to Schroeder. Schroeder from the outside gets a screen from Harrell. Schroeder to KCP, guarded by Dame. Gets a screen from Harrell. Schroeder back to Harrell. Harrell on the floater. He'll knock it down. A beautiful play there. Pick and roll from Schroeder and Harrell as it is 18-10 Portland. Lillard penetrating, guarded by KCP. To Melo. To Lillard. Lillard driving in. Back out to Gary Trent. Gary Trent, no good. Rebound, Kuzma. Kuzma to Schroeder. Schroeder driving in. Back out to Harrell. Schroeder on the inside floater. That'll go. 18-12. It's a 4-point game. The Lakers have brought it back within 4. The inbounds pass goes to Lillard. Lillard gets it to Melo. Melo down low to Cantor. Cantor under the basket. He does get fouled. That's a shooting foul on the Lakers. A shooting foul for the Lakers as Cantor was under the basket. I just want to check something. Make sure I have my rosters right for the Trailblazers. And it seems that I do. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we're there. 19-12 now. Cantor with a second free throw can make it an 8-point game with 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. And Cantor makes the second free throw. 8-point game. Floater from Kuzma on the other end. No good. Rebound, Harrell. Harrell puts it back up and gets fouled. He'll go to the line and try to make it a 6-point game now. Michael in the chat, what's up to you? Thank you so much for watching the stream. I really appreciate it. Yeah, my feed is a little bit behind most people's. I found that to be the case when I tried to do a show play-by-play with Landon the other night. My Wi-Fi is my Wi-Fi's bad sometimes, so I get a little lag, like a minute behind on my ESPN app. Harrell makes it a 7-point game with the second free throw. He can make it a 6-point game. Harrell was a great addition to the Clippers last year, gets picked up by the Lakers this year. Remains in LA, switches teams. Second free throw is up. It is no good. Oh, it's actually tipped in, so that'll be 2 points, 20-15. It's a 5-point game. Anthony Davis likes it on the sidelines. Dame up the court. He is being guarded by Horton Tucker, I believe that is. Dame driving in under the basket. It'll go. I believe that's 8 points for Dame this quarter. That was Wesley Matthews he was being guarded by, I believe. And Dame shaken up on the play. under the basket. We get a stoppage of play before he goes to the line for the and one. 3 minutes and 7 seconds left in the first quarter. With the free throw, it could be 23-15, and the Trailblazers would be up by 8. As we see the replay here, Dame reversing under the basket and gets knocked down by Harrell. Looks like he got hit in the face maybe by Harrell there. As they will take a commercial break. Again, guys, at halftime, I will be taking a break, and we'll be back for the second half. I will not be doing a halftime show, and I probably will not be doing a post-game show. I got to get up early tomorrow morning, and the game will probably not be over until close to midnight, so I'll need to go and get some sleep. But I did want to bring this game to you. The game of the night, really the game of the weekend, in my opinion. That's going to be very fun to watch if the Lakers can hang in there. They picked it up after that timeout they took at the beginning of the game, though. That run that the Portland Trailblazers went on was pretty big at the beginning of the game, led by Gary Trent Jr., and the Lakers brought it back within 10, so that's good. Excuse me, I had to cough. So we are on a commercial break right now. When we come back, it seems as though that Dame is going to be taking his free throw for the and one, as he got shaken up on the play by Harrell. And they were taking a commercial break just to make sure everything's okay. I think it was really important, too, that the Lakers brought it back within 10 because obviously with that first run with the Trailblazers, they weren't playing well on the boards. They allowed a lot of offensive rebounds, and it seemed as though they were rebounding the ball a lot better on that run, and you saw the improvement not only on the defensive end but on the offensive end as well. All right, we are back in the Staples Center in Los Angeles. As Damien Lillard will be at the line. In the last 10 games, he's been averaging 30 points per game. He's a 2021 NBA All-Star, 38% from three-point range. And he converts the and one, is now an 8-point game, 8-point Trailblazers lead as Schroeder gets the inbounds pass, guarded by Dame, gets the ball to Kuzma, back to Schroeder. Schroeder gets the screen from Harrell, driving in over Cantor, and they will call a foul on Enes Kanter. It appeared to me that he blocked the ball, but maybe he did get a little contact in which they called the foul on Cantor there. They're going to show the replay here as Schroeder drives in. Yeah, I think that was just a block by Enes Kanter. But they will call it a foul, and Schroeder will go to the line and make his first one. He can bring it back within 6 with this second free throw. Kanter could not believe it. He'll get subbed out now. He has 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists at the moment. Schroeder's second free throw is up, and it's good. 6-point lead for the Trailblazers now as the inbounds pass goes to Dame, guarded by Caruso. A full court press from Alex Caruso. Dame gets a screen from Carmelo Anthony. Driving in, Dame with the floater looking off the glass, and that is a foul. Dame will go to the line for 2. Could get 10 points this game. Ten points in the first quarter. He has played all of the first quarter so far, the first 8 minutes of the first quarter. His free throw is up, and it's good. His first one, he could bring it back within 7. Monday this week, we have the Jazz at the Pelicans at 8, the Hornets at the Trailblazers at 10:30. On Tuesday this week, we have the Clippers at the Celtics at 7:30, and the Suns at the Lakers at 10 Tuesday evening on TNT. Dame's second free throw is up. It's good. They regain their 8-point lead. Rodney Hood is now in the game. He is guarding Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder on the perimeter, driving in on Hood, turns around, goes for a layup, and will get another foul. Schroeder draws yet another foul on the inside, is going to go back to the line and look to make it a 6-point game. Schroeder, it's up, it's good. LeBron James checks back in for the Lakers. Schroeder, second free throw is up. It's good. 6-point lead again for the Trailblazers. Lillard now penetrating. Working on Schroeder. Lillard gets a screen from Melo. Lillard back to Melo in the post on Schroeder. Melo gets double teamed. Looks down low. Out to Hood. Hood for 3. No good. Rebound. James up the court to Harrell. Beautiful pass, and that is the assist ability of LeBron James. 1:45 left in the first quarter. 4-point game. Trailblazers lead by 4. Lillard working on Matthews. Lillard steps back from the mid-range. He'll knock it down. 12 points in the first quarter for Damien Lillard, and back to a 6-point game. Schroeder on the other end working on Hood. Gets a screen from Kuzma. Back to Kuzma. Back to Schroeder. Schroeder from the outside. 3. He'll knock it down. 27-24. 3-point game. 3-point lead for the Trailblazers. Lillard back up on the other end of the court. Guarded by Schroeder. And an illegal screen on Derrick Jones Jr., who is back in the game. As they'll replay the beautiful pass from LeBron. Oftentimes you hear people calling him QB1, a football reference there, just because of the amazing passing ability of LeBron James. Working in the post now on Rodney Hood. This is a mismatch. Don't be surprised if we see James in the post take the shot on Hood. And he will. And he will not make it. Some great defense from Rodney Hood. As I believe that was Covington with the rebound. Lillard's going to hold for the shot clock. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. 38 seconds left in the game. Lillard driving in on Wesley Matthews. Cuts between the double team. Goes up, and it's good. 14 points in the first quarter for Damian Lillard. John Mark, you might be correct when you said that Damian Lillard could have over 40 points tonight. Playing very, very well. 33 seconds left, 24 seconds left in the game. There's a 9-point difference between shot and game clock. Schroeder picks the ball up and the clock starts. Schroeder on the perimeter. He's going to hold for the shot clock. 10 seconds difference between shot and game clock now. Schroeder working on Melo. This is a mismatch in favor of the Trailblazers. Schroeder pulls it back, loses control of the ball, regains it, goes inside, tries to draw another foul. He will not draw the foul. The rebound by the Trailblazers. Damien Lillard, who has played all the first quarter, 5 seconds left. He's going to look to get a last shot off. His 14 points in the game right now. He gets it to Derek Jones Jr. It's blocked by James to end the first quarter, and it is 29-24, a 5-point game. A block by James to end that first quarter. I will be right back as they head to commercial break. Give me 2 minutes. I will be right back. All right, I am back. I had to go get a water a second. But James with that big block on Derek Jones Jr., the difference between a 7-point game or a 6-point game and a 4-point game right there. Trailblazers definitely won that quarter, in my opinion, just because of the run that they went on to start the quarter. Damien Lillard has 14 points in the first quarter, 15 points. He's 5 for 8 from field goal range, 2 for 4 from three-point range. Having a great game. He keeps this up. He's on track to score. He's on track to score 60 in this. Well, actually, no. Yes, if he scores 15 points every quarter, that's 60 points for Damian Lillard tonight. I don't think that will happen. I think he could get over 40, though. LeBron didn't have a very big quarter as far as points-wise. So that's interesting. Another guy that had a big first quarter was Gary Trent Jr. I believe he had 8 points in that first quarter. So he is the second leading scorer for the Trailblazers right now. Schroeder, I believe, is the leading scorer for the Lakers at the moment. So we are back in the Staples Center. For the second quarter of play, Trailblazers possession to start the second quarter. Hood has the ball right now. Hood from the outside knocks it down, 32-24. That is now an 8-point lead for the Trailblazers. Caruso on the other end to Kuzma. Harrell on the outside to James. James is guarded by Derek Jones Jr. Gets a screen. James to Matthews. Matthews for 3. Looking for an answer. No good. Rebound for the Trailblazers. Right now, Inference Simmons has the ball. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And a steal. James on the other end. Oh, Hood with a steal. Can the Trailblazers come up with it? No, they cannot. I think that's going to go back to the Lakers. Strip the ball away from James, though. You don't see that often, as it is still an 8-point game to start this second quarter. Caruso with the inbounds to Harrell. Harrell is being guarded by Covington. James in the post. Fires. No good. Rebound by Covington. Covington to Lillard. Oh, no, that was Hood. I'm sorry. Hood to Melo. Carmelo Anthony in the post, guarded by Harrell. Melo, jab step. Another jab step, and loses possession of the ball, but it will stay with Portland. Melo gets it on the rebound, guarded by Matthews. This is a mismatch. Melo in the post, turns around, jumper. No good. Rebound, LeBron. LeBron taking it back up the court in the fast break. We know he's dangerous here. Drives in and will get fouled and go to the line for 2 shots. Could make it a 6-point game with both of these if he converts on both of these foul shots. James' first foul shot is up. It's no good. Looking for a second one to make it a 7-point game. It's up. It's good. Inbounds goes to Simmons. Simmons, guarded by Caruso. Carmelo Anthony to Rodney Hood. Gets a screen from Carmelo, guarded now by Matthews. From the mid-range. Hood, no good. Melo from the mid-range. He'll knock it down over Montrezl Harrell, 34-25. It's a 9-point Trailblazers lead. Kuzma on the other end, guarded by Carmelo Anthony. Harrell, guarded by... Oh, back out to Caruso. Caruso for 3. Knocks it down, 34-28. Now he was being guarded by Simmons there. As now Rodney Hood being guarded by James. Melo in the post. Back to... Oh, it's stolen by James. James on the other end. Caruso. Caruso for 3. No good. Caruso had that in transition. Kuzma to Caruso. Back to Kuzma. Kuzma drives in. Floater, no good. A block. And Simmons bringing the ball back up the court, guarded by Caruso. Loses possession, regains possession. Now gets a screen from Derrick Jones Jr. Off the glass. Simmons from the outside. Make it a 9-point game yet again. A bank shot from 3-point land. How often do you see that unless it's a buzzer beater? A timeout has been taken, I believe. Or no, a foul has been called. They're going to replay the Simmons 3 off the glass. You don't see that all the time. And Fernie Simmons. James working on Derrick Jones Jr. James from the outside. No good. Rebound, Carmelo Anthony. The Trailblazers now have a chance to make it a double-digit lead. They have to be wise here. Melo in the post working on Caruso. Melo from the mid-range. No good. Rebound, James. James on the fast break. Back on the other end up the court. James guarded by Covington. James for 3. He'll knock it down. LeBron James bringing it back within 6 points. Simmons on the other end. Guarded by Caruso. To Hood. Hood driving in on Matthews. In the post now. Back out to Simmons. Simmons Back to Hood. Hood going down low looking for a pass, almost stolen, and it will be an offensive foul. Caruso draws the foul. As they'll replay LeBron James 3. 8 points for LeBron. Oh no, Caruso got the foul there as Simmons drives in. No good. Rebound. James on the other end guarded by 3 guys. Matthews on the outside. Oh, it's stolen by Carmelo Anthony. And it will be Trailblazers ball. Another turnover for the Los Angeles Lakers. Some very sloppy basketball in this first half of play. LeBron James is averaging 37 minutes a game, third most in the NBA right now. In the past couple games, he's been averaging over 40 minutes a game. That's the most in the NBA in the past couple games. On the outside now, that was Robert Covington. Rodney Hood on the perimeter, guarded by James. Hood steps back over James. No good. Rebound, Alex Caruso. Caruso on the other end. Down low to James. James will put it in. Will not get fouled. It's a 4-point game. 4-point lead for Portland with 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. Simmons guarded by Caruso. Simmons driving in, stolen by Caruso. LeBron on the other end will get fouled and have to go to the line, I believe. Fouled by Covington. A smart foul sending him to the line. LeBron is not the best free throw shooter. See again the layup from LeBron having a significantly better second quarter. LeBron at the line, looking to make it a 3-point game. It will not go. There's what I was just talking about. LeBron is not the best free throw shooter. I would intentionally foul him if he gets a fast break, and that's exactly what Robert Covington did. A very, very smart play for Covington. LeBron James has 10 points in the game so far. Second free throw is up. It's now a 3-point game as LeBron James makes his second free throw. Inbounds, that was to Derek Jones. Lillard checked back in the game, guarded by Schroeder. 3-point lead for the Trailblazers. Lillard now guarded by James. Drives in on James. Layup, no good. Rebound by Horton Tucker. And on the other end, the Lakers will score. A timeout is called by the Trailblazers. It is now a 1-point game, 1-point lead for the Portland Trailblazers with 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. So the Lakers bringing it back within 1. They could take the lead in this quarter. Some very sloppy play for the Lakers, though, in my opinion. A lot of turnovers in that first half. They got to limit the turnovers in the second half. As we are coming up just on the hour here, I do want to advertise Landon Hammond's show, Fuel to the Fire. Please go check that out. I'm on that show twice a week. We will be recording tomorrow night, so a new episode should be out on Sunday morning. Please go and check that out. Subscribe to his channel. Also, if you like this stream and you want to see more just like it, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe as well. We would greatly appreciate it, and we thank you for all the support. All right, we are back in the Staples Center. Right now, this evening, the Suns beat the Bulls 106-97. The Suns are now 21-11. The Bulls are 15-17. So it will be Trailblazers possession. LeBron James is now subbed out again. Lillard gets a screen. Covington to Cantor to Lillard. Lillard on the outside to Covington. Covington guarded by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Covington to, I don't know who that was actually, but they missed the three. There was a rebound by Harrell. And the Lakers now have possession. So the inbound pass will go to Schroeder. Schroeder bringing the ball up the court. 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. Montrezl Harrell working on Cantor. Horton Tucker on the inside to Harrell. Harrell puts it up and it's good and one. The Lakers with their first lead of the game, 38-37. Harrell has 7 points tonight. Looking to make it a 2-point game if he can make the free throw. And the Lakers get their first lead of the game in the second quarter with 5 minutes left. Harrell's free throw is good. Inbounds pass to Lillard, who's immediately met by Schroeder. A full court press. Lillard now working on Schroeder. Gets a screen from Cantor. Still guarded by Schroeder on the perimeter. Trying to create some space, he does. Goes inside and he will get fouled and go to the line, I believe. Unless it was a blocking foul, I'm not sure. The foul was on Horton Tucker, and it was a blocking foul. Gary Trent Jr. back in the game now. Gets the ball to Lillard. Lillard working on Schroeder. Layup, it's good. 39 apiece in LA. Dennis Schroeder on the outside working on Lillard. Gets a screen. Schroeder from the mid-range. It's up. No good. Rebound by Cantor. Cantor to Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. penetrating up the court. Lillard guarded by Morris. Lillard on the inside to Cantor. It's blocked by Horton Tucker on the other end. KCP on the outside. Harrell on the outside. Guarded by Cantor. Harrell puts up a floater. No good. Rebound by Nasir Little for the Trailblazers. Lillard working on Schroeder. Schroeder gets a screen from Covington. Lillard looking to draw the foul. He did not draw the foul. An offensive rebound by Nasir Little, and he will get fouled. I believe that's coming back to the Trailblazers on a blocking foul, which means the shot clock would get reset to 14 seconds. 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. Three for the Trailblazers. No good. Rebound, Horton Tucker. Horton Tucker to KCP. KCP on the other end goes under the basket. What a layup by KCP. A reverse layup under the basket. Very nice shot. And the answer from Gary Trent on the other end gets the and one. The Portland Trailblazers looking to get back ahead and take a 1-point lead. They're going to replay this beautiful layup for KCP. What a layup. Under the basket, reverses, and puts it in. Gary Trent Jr. with this free throw could put the Trailblazers back ahead by 1. It's up. It is good. Trailblazers now lead by 1. Schroeder gets the inbounds pass. Guarded by Trent. To Morris. To Gasol. To Schroeder. Gets a screen from Gasol. Schroeder. Floater. No good. Rebound Nasir Little. To Lillard. Lillard on the other end gets a screen from Cantor. And Lillard for 3. He'll knock it down. 45-41. Portland Trailblazers. Lillard is on a roll right now. Gasol on the outside. KCP back to Schroeder. Schroeder to Gasol. Gasol on the top of the key. Gets a screen from Gasol to Schroeder. Inside. Morris. Mid-range. No good. Rebound by Covington. Dame Dalla on the other end. Enes Kanter. And there will be a foul, a stoppage of play. I believe it's a blocking foul. I'm going to replay this 3 by Lillard. Ice in his veins. Makes it a 4-point game. It's like a hot knife through butter, that smooth shooting stroke of Damien Lillard. Enes Kanter in the post. No good. Rebound, Horton Tucker. Yet another rebound for the Lakers, having a big quarter as Horton Tucker. On the other end, a reverse layup. Horton Tucker takes it all the way. A nice move for Horton Tucker. Lillard gets a screen. Working on KCP. Lillard from the outside. No good. Bit of a heat check there. And a stoppage of play as Marc Gasol goes down. That's a foul on Enes Kanter. And a timeout, I believe, called by the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. Second quarter is just getting ready to end, guys. Again, at halftime, I will not be doing a halftime show. I will be pausing the stream. You guys won't see me. The stream will be running. The ticker will be running with the score, and then it will be back for the second half. Pretty entertaining game, though. That's it. The second quarter was very entertaining. The Lakers picked it up. It's a very close game now. Horton Tucker had a lot of big rebounds in that second quarter so far. He scored that reverse layup, which was really good, but I think where he's making a difference this game is on the boards. And of course, we all know Dame Dalla on the other end, nailing the 3, ice in his veins, proving why he, in my opinion, is one of the best point guards in the league right now, if not the best point guard in the league right now. James, I believe, still has 10 points in the game. 10 points going into halftime for LeBron James is not a lot of points, so he's going to have to contribute big in the second half if they're going to want to win this game. For people watching in the stream right now, thank you guys so much for watching. We are on the back end of the second quarter. At halftime, I am going to pause the stream. You guys will see the ticker, but you will not see me. I'm going to take a break at halftime. We'll be back for the second half. Right now, it is a one-score game with the two-score game. The Trailblazers are ahead by 4. I believe 54-51 off a beautiful 3 from Damien Lillard to put them ahead, and the Lakers will have possession off an offensive foul from Enes Kanter with about 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter, I believe. 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter, I apologize. 45-43 is the score off a score from the Lakers on the other end. That's right. Horton Tucker had the reverse layup. Damien Lillard with that three, that smooth shooting stroke. On display all night. When you need a clutch bucket, you call Dame Dalla. He's over 20 points at half, and John Mark was right. If he keeps it up, he's on pace to score over 40 points tonight. Enes Kanter at the line now. Makes it a 4-point game, 47-43. 2 minutes and 41 seconds to play in the quarter. Caruso gets the ball penetrating up the court. He will be met by Trent. Horton Tucker on the outside, guarded by Covington. On the inside, working on Covington now. Turnaround, Horton Tucker under the basket. Reverse layup again, no good. Rebound, Gasol. Down low to Caruso. Slamming the ball down. Caruso, an emphatic slam. Makes it a 2-point game. Damien Lillard will be met by KCP at the top of the key. 2 minutes left in the game. Gets a screen from Kanter, and they will call. There's a stoppage of play. They're going to replay that dunk by Caruso. Just an emphatic slam for Caruso. A momentum shifter if there ever was one. And Robert Covington will go to the line. I don't know what that foul exactly was. I just know there was a stoppage of play, and Robert Covington is now at the line. Marc Gasol has 3 fouls early. They're going to need to watch his playing time in the second half now. They're keeping him in the second quarter, which is a bold move for the Lakers. Trailblazers up 4 now. Horton Tucker, guarded by Covington on top of the key, gives it to Caruso, guarded by Trent. Caruso gets a screen back to James, who's checked in for the game. Marc Gasol under the basket gets fouled. He'll go to the line for 2 shots, looking to bring it back within 2. Gasol looking for his first points of the game with 1:49 left in the first quarter. The free throw line. Gasol's first free throw is good. Makes it a 1-score game. They're now up 3. The Trailblazers are now leading by 3. With this free throw, he could cut the lead down to 2. Gasol, his free throw is good. It is a 2-point game now. The Trailblazers lead by 2. 1:48 left. Lillard will be met by KCP on the wing. Gets a screen from Kanter. Lillard off the screen. A pass to Gary Trent Jr. for 3. And he did not get it. James on the other end for 3. Yes, it goes. The Lakers are back on top. 1-point game. Lakers lead 50-49. 1:21 left in the game. Lillard gets a screen from Kanter. Lillard to Kanter. Kanter on the inside. No good. Offensive rebound. Lillard on the outside. Lillard for 3. Yes, it goes. Lillard. 52-50 Portland. Lillard nails yet another 3. Gets banged up on the play, but there is ice in that man's veins. You need a clutch bucket. You call Dame Dalla. What a shot by Damian Lillard to bring the Trailblazers lead back up to 2. Amazing from beyond the arc what this guy can do. With a hand in his face, guarded by Horton Tucker. They might even call this a foul, and it would be a 4-point play. Wow, what a shot. A little banged up on the play is Lillard, favoring his right leg right now. I think they're going to call this a foul on Horton Tucker, and it'll be a 4-point play. They're reviewing it right now to see if Tucker had contact with Lillard. If he did, it becomes a 4-point play opportunity, and Lillard could put the Trailblazers up by 3 with a minute left in the second quarter. And it appears that they will call it a foul, which means that Lillard will go to the line for one shot after making the three-pointer. A 4-point play opportunity for Lillard, looking to make the game 53-50 with 1 minute left. He has 23 points this game, looking to make it 24 in the first half. Just having a phenomenal game, and John Marco's right. He could have over 40 points. Lillard converts. It's 53-50 Portland. A minute left in the first half. James for 3, looking to tie it up. No good. Rebound, Lillard to Derek Jones Jr., who gets fouled. He's going to go to the line. It could be 5-point lead for the Trailblazers if Derek Jones Jr. makes both of his free throws. He was fouled by Morris. Looking to make it a 5-point game with both of his free throws converted. First one's up. It's good. Derek Jones Jr., second free throw is up. It's good. 5-point game for the Portland Trailblazers. Alex Caruso bringing the ball up the court now. KCP guarded by Lillard to James, who's guarded by Jones. James in the post. Little space. James for 3. I'm sorry, not for 3, for 2 from the mid-range. He knocks it down, makes it a 3-point game. 55-52, Portland leads. 39 seconds left. 18 seconds between shot and game clock right now. Cantor on the inside. In the post. Gives James a little bit of a push there. And it's no good. Rebound by KCP. Gives it to Caruso. There is a 6 seconds difference between shot and game clock at the moment. Harrell with the slam dunk. 55-54 lead for the Portland Trailblazers right now. And they're going to be holding the ball here. Lillard for the final shot. And guys, I don't know how else to emphasize this to you. Damien Lillard is the guy you want with the ball in his hands for a last-second shot if Steph Curry isn't on the floor. Damien Lillard to the inside to Derek Jones. It's tipped in, but was it in? Derek Jones Jr. looked like he tipped it in there. Was it past the buzzer or would it go? Interesting. It looks like no, it will not go. Cantor did not tip it in time. Oh, yes, he did. Was it off his hands in time, though? That's the real question here as they're going to look at the replay. And he did not get it off in time. All right, guys, so while the halftime show is going on, I will take a break, and I will be back for the second half. I will see you guys then. All right, we are back for the second half of the game. Damien Lillard had 24 points in the first half. LeBron James had 18 points in the first half. So this is a promising second half here. I believe they did actually count that tip in for Enes Kanter. So it is 57-54 Trailblazers, and they have possession of the ball to start the second half as Gary Trent driving in mid-range. It's good. 59-54 Trailblazers. Gary Trent Jr. with a big mid-range shot there. Dennis Schroeder will be met by Gary Trent Jr. on the other end. LeBron James working on mid-range shot, no good. Morris for three, no good. Rebound by Kanter. Lillard looked for a long pass, which was stolen by James. Gasol for three. He finally knocks one down. Gasol is like 1 for 4 this game from three. Finally knocks one down, brings it back within two. Dame Dalla will be met by KCP. Gets a screen from Covington. Covington for three. No good. Rebound. LeBron James on the other end. Looking to tie the game up. Morris under the basket will get fouled. But I think it will be a blocking foul. Morris was not in the act of shooting. It will be a blocking foul. Inbounds pass comes from James to Gasol right under the basket. And just like that, it is a tie game, 59-59 with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Inbounds pass goes to Derek Jones Jr. to Gary Trent Jr. Gets a screen from Dame Dalla. Gary Trent Jr. spins, looks for a shot, stolen by the Lakers. The Lakers starting out quick in this second half. Schroeder on the other end to James. James to Gasol. Gasol, does he have another one in him from three? He does not, is no good. Damian Lillard brings the ball up. Spins, guarded by KCP. Another bad pass, another steal by James on the other end. KCP to James. It's an alley-oop. LeBron James does what he does best and slams the ball down. And Portland gets the ball back. It's a 2-point game. 2-point lead now for the LA Lakers. Damian Lillard will be met by KCP on the perimeter. Enes Kanter guarded by Gasol. Gary Trent Jr. driving in, looking for Enes Kanter. He does not get it to him. It's out of bounds. Portland possession. A great alley-oop pass from KCP to LeBron James there to put the Lakers up by 2. Off the inbounds pass, Derek Jones Jr. with a slam dunk ties the game up at 61. Schroeder brings the ball up for the Lakers. He will be met by Damian Lillard. Screen from Gasol. Schroeder to the outside. James guarded by Derek Jones Jr. James has a little space, gets a screen. Now guarded by Robert Covington. James spins, fires. No good. Rebound by the Lakers. It will stay with the Lakers. That is out of bounds. Tipped out of bounds by the Portland Trailblazers. Nine minutes to play in the third quarter. James. Pass to Caruso. Caruso guarded by Dame Dalla. Caruso drives in. Pass out to Morris. Morris for three. No good. Rebound. Kanter to Dame Dalla. Penetrating up the court is Damian Lillard. I think it's worth mentioning. I think Damian Lillard has one of the coolest nicknames I've ever heard in sports. I mean, Dame Dalla. Come on, that's his rapper name. Inbounds pass goes to Kanter. Kanter to Lillard to Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. from the mid-range looked for a foul, did not get it. Rebound, James penetrating on the fast break. This is where this James bread and butter spins at the rim, draws a foul. And you know what? When James isn't scoring in transition and you can get him to the line, that's a W, as I said earlier, because James is not the best free throw shooter. LeBron James has made half of his free throws tonight. His first free throw is up. It's good. 1 point lead for the Lakers with 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. James' second free throw. It's up. No good. See, there it is again. He has made half of his free throws. He has gone 1 for 2 on all of his free throws tonight. 3 times he's been at the line. He's gone 3 for 6 total. Lillard on the other end spinning. It gets stolen again. Lillard playing some very sloppy basketball out of the gate, out of the second half. Rebound, Cantor on the other end. Gary Trent Jr. working on KCP. Gets a screen from Cantor. Mid-range for Gary Trent Jr. He had all the space in the world. 63-62 lead Trailblazers. And that's where LeBron's free throw comes back into play. If LeBron makes that free throw, it is now 63-63. But LeBron misses the free throw. He's 3 for 6, 50% from free throw tonight. And it is now 64-63 lead for the Lakers. But that one free throw could make a difference, because now if the Trailblazers come back and make a 3 here, it's a 2-point lead. Even if they get a 2, it's a 1-point lead again. It is tipped out of bounds now. It will stay Portland possession. That's what's so interesting about this, because as I said, when LeBron James is in transition, that's his bread and butter. He's able to get to the rim and most of the time score. But if you can find a way to limit that and foul LeBron, I would totally rather have LeBron shoot from the line than shoot at the rim, because LeBron's not a good free throw shooter. I don't care what anybody says. He's not a good free throw shooter. Damien working on Schroeder. Drives in under the basket. Did he get fouled? If he did, it could be a shooting foul. We're waiting the official call from the ref here. Schroeder is getting subbed out, so is Caldwell Pope. Or no, Caldwell Pope is not. Schroeder is getting subbed out. It was a blocking foul. It appears that Damien Lillard was not in the act of shooting when he got fouled. The inbounds pass goes to Robert Covington. Lillard driving in. That is a shooting foul. He will go to the line for 2. See, and again, I go back to the LeBron James free throws. If Lillard makes both of these free throws, it is a 1-point lead for the Portland Trailblazers. If LeBron James would have made both of his free throws, Lillard would have needed both of these to tie the game up. So if this stays as close as it is down the stretch and it comes down to free throws, we can look back and say, well, if LeBron would have made those 2 free throws, the Blazers wouldn't be leading by 1 right now. They would be tied. Lillard makes the first one, ties the game up at 64. His second one would put the Blazers up by 2. I think it was so smart in this game. The smartest play of the game was when Robert Covington intentionally fouled LeBron under the basket. I wouldn't want LeBron shooting under the basket. I would want him at the free throw line, 100%, because he's not a good free throw shooter. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope guarded by Dame Dalla. KCP now to Gasol to James. James is guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. James now guarded by Rodney Hood, who checked in. Gasol gets fouled under the basket. He will go to the line for 2. as it seems they're going to take a commercial break. 3 people watching the stream now. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're in the second half of the game. Just getting ready to finish the game. There's about 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and then we have, obviously, the final quarter of the game. Leave in the comments, guys, who you think is going to win this game. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more streams just like this one. And also go ahead and please subscribe to Fuel to the Fire, Landon Hammond's show live on YouTube. Twice a week, I am on that show. Again, guys, we will not have a post-game show. I will be ending the stream right as the game ends. I do have to get up a little bit early tomorrow, so the game probably won't be over until like 12:30, and I will have to go right after that. Let me try and fix my camera angle here. Let me see. No, that makes it worse. It needs to be a little bit this way. There we go. That's a lot better. Also, guys, again, I will be doing a show this Wednesday. I know I didn't get one out to you guys this past Wednesday. I was getting ready to go back to school on Thursday, so I had a lot going on with that. I will get you guys a show this coming Wednesday afternoon. You can get your latest in the MLB, the NBA, and the NFL right here on Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt. And I'll probably be moving to 2 shows this summer. My plan is to not only call baseball and basketball games when I get the chance, but to maybe try and do 2 shows, 2 of my normal show, Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt, during the week as well. So I would probably stick to the weekend plan to call games on the weekends and maybe pick 1 MLB game and 1 NBA game to call, and maybe do like a Tuesday, Thursday in the summer for my show to do during the week. All right, we're back here at the Staples Center. As Marc Gasol will be taking his free throws. The first one is no good. Now that is vital. He misses the free throw. Now, if he makes this, he ties the game, meaning that if Portland puts up a 2 or a 3, that they can go up by that amount. Now that the game's tied, that's even worse. Now that Gasol missed that free throw, struggling from the line tonight are the Lakers. A full court press from Alex Caruso as Damien Lillard brings the ball up the court. He gets a screen from Derrick Jones Jr. Caruso, tight defense on Damien Lillard. Lillard gets double teamed. Gary Trent Jr. in the corner, no good. Rebound, Caruso. Caruso penetrating, fast break. James on the outside, guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. Gets a screen from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, almost stolen by Damian Lillard. Gasol for 3, no good. Gasol has struggled from the 3-point line tonight as well. KCP for 3, that one will go. 68-65, Lakers lead by 3. Damian Lillard will be met by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on the top of the key. Crosses the half-court line, gets a screen from Cantor. Turns around, gets another screen from Cantor. On the outside, Derrick Jones Jr. driving in on James. Gets a layup to go. It is 68-67 Lakers still as 5 minutes are left in the third quarter. Alex Caruso on the perimeter. James, guarded by Derek Jones Jr., gets a screen, gets a little space. Gasol on the top of the key. James, guarded by Cantor. Double teamed now. Caruso in the corner. Caruso for three. No good. Rebound. Kuzma fought for that rebound. KCP on the outside looking for another three. No good. Rebound. Cantor. On the other end, Covington. From the mid-range for two. No good. Rebound. James, but there was a stoppage of play. Think they called that an offensive foul on Alex Caruso, which means it will stay in the possession of the Portland Trailblazers, which is also big. Because although the Lakers lead by one, the Trailblazers now have an opportunity to take advantage of that lead, or take the lead back. I apologize. So, Derek Jones Jr. on the perimeter Gary Trent Jr. gets a screen from Jones Jr. In the post is Damien Lillard gets double teamed. Gary Trent Jr. on the outside to Melo, who is checked in. Carmelo Anthony from the mid-range. No good. Rebound. Kuzma to James. James penetrating. Kuzma driving in. Caruso on the outside. Knocks it down. 71-67, a 4-point lead for the LA Lakers, their largest lead of the game. Lillard on the other end. The Trailblazers have had a very rough start to the second half so far. Lillard to Gary Trent. Stolen by James. The Lakers go on a run. Caruso, an emphatic slam on the other end. A momentum swinger. Portland must call timeout. It is now a 6-point lead for the LA Lakers as a Portland timeout is called. What a run to start the second half by the LA Lakers, taking advantage of the game. A slow start to the second half for the Portland Trailblazers, and the Lakers lead by 6 as we take a commercial break. About 3 minutes left in the third quarter at the moment. Oh, give me 1 second. I just want to fix my mic cord here. I don't want to trip over that when I get up. But yeah, we have about 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Sort of a quick quarter, but the Lakers went on a whole 9-minute run there, and the Blazers had to call a timeout at some point. So give me 1 second here. Just want to check something on my phone while we have a commercial break. All right. Yeah, so we're just getting ready to conclude the third quarter. And again, guys, after the game, I will have to go right away. I will not be doing a post-game show. And we're back in the Staples Center after that long run for the Lakers, which ended them having a 6-point lead, their largest lead of the game. Led by LeBron James, the leader of the Lakers. And a stoppage of play immediately. I don't know exactly what happened. About 4 minutes left in the third quarter here. As Lillard will go to the line, it looks like an offensive foul or a foul from Caruso. So Lillard has a chance to make it a 4-point game if he makes his second free throw. He made his first free throw. Second free throw is up. It's good. Lillard makes both of his free throws. 4-point lead now for the Lakers. Caruso running point guard. He'll be met by Damien Lillard. Caruso to Harrell. Harrell in the post. James on the outside. Guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. And the ball will go back the other way. I don't know exactly what happened there either. But the Trailblazers do have possession now. They need to utilize this possession. They can bring it back within one score right here. Lillard. Guarded by Caruso. Driving in are the Blazers. Did it go? Or was it a foul by James? It did not go in. Derrick Jones Jr., did James draw the charge? James tried to draw the charge, but was it a block? And he did draw the charge. Tavius Caldwell-Pope from the mid-range. Back out to James. James. Inside to Harrell. Harrell dunks it in. It is now a 6-point game again. Harrell will go to the line and can make it a 7-point game and continue the Lakers' effort to pull away with the lead. Harrell needs this free throw to go up 7. Free throw is up. It's good. Lakers now lead by 7. The inbounds pass goes to Carmelo Anthony. Anthony guarded by Kuzma on the perimeter. Gives it to Dame Dalla. Guarded by Caruso. Double teamed. Lillard looking for somebody to pass to out of the double team. No good. Rebound James. James on the other end. Caruso wanted a foul, did not get it. Rebound by Dame Dalla. Covington for 3. No good. Rebound Kuzma. Kuzma penetrating on the other end. Transition. Kuzma taking it all the way home. Will draw a foul and go to the line for 2. Can make it a 9-point game. The Lakers are just pulling away with this one at the moment. Kuzma will go to the line. Makes them both. It's a 9-point lead. He makes the first one. Second free throw is up. It's good. So it's a 9-point lead for the Lakers. Damien Lillard gets the inbound pass. Guarded by Caruso. Lillard looking for Hood. It's a steal for the Lakers. The Lakers could go up by double digits if they score right here. Schroeder, floater. It is good. The Lakers are up 11 points, 69 or 80 to 69, and the Lakers are going on quite the run. Only 12 points scored this quarter for the Blazers. Outside, Covington for three. No good, and I think it's going the other way on an offensive foul, as if the Blazers need something else to happen to them in this second half. Everything that's going wrong, or everything that could go wrong in this second half for the Blazers has gone wrong. We talked about the slow start to the beginning of the game for the Lakers. We are seeing the same slow start for the Blazers, and the Lakers are capitalizing with an 11-point lead. Dennis Schroeder has played for 19 minutes. He's had 13 points, 4 for 9 from field goal range. Schroeder will get the inbounds pass. He will be met by Rodney Hood. Gives it to Harrell. Harrell in the post. Harrell to KCP. KCP for two. No good. Rebound to the Lakers. An offensive rebound. Kuzma for three. No good. It's tipped in. It's a 13-point lead for the LA Lakers. Just running away with this one. This is almost a blowout now for the Lakers. Carmelo Anthony in the post, guarded by Harrell. Anthony turns, fires. That one is finally good. Back to an 11-point lead for the Lakers. In response, Caruso takes it right up the court, tries to get a fast break going. Caruso on the outside, guarded by Melo. Caruso down low, gives it to Harrell, who gets double-teamed, guarded by Melo. Harrell turns, looks for a post, spin, no good. Schroeder gets the rebound, and it's stolen. Carmelo Anthony on the other end. Could this be the run that the Blazers can get started? On the outside, Rodney Hood for three in transition. That's good. Brings it back within 10. It is now an 8-point game. Schroeder, 43 seconds left in the third quarter. He's going to hold for the shot clock. 12-second difference, or 22-second difference between shot and game clock right now. Schroeder waiting for the shot clock to wind down. Schroeder for three. No good. Stoppage of play. They're going to call a foul on Rodney Hood, which means Schroeder will go to the line. He can make it a 10-point game if he makes both of his free throws. 29 seconds left in the game. 5 seconds difference between shot and game clock. Schroeder is actually going to go to the line for three. So if he makes all three of them, the Lakers will be up 11 points. And there definitely was some contact from Rodney Hood. Schroeder makes the second free throw. If he makes this one, the Lakers would be up 11 points headed into the fourth quarter. Schroeder. Free throw is up. And it's good. 11-point lead for the Lakers. 29 seconds left in the game. There is a 6 seconds difference between shot and game clock. Lillard will be met by Caruso. Lillard's going to hold for the shot clock. And again, I've said this before. If you need a clutch shot, a shot to get you back in the game, you're going to look for Dame Dalla, who gets double-teamed. Pass to Gary Trent. Or that was Melo. No, it was Covington. My apologies. 6 seconds left now. Schroeder drives in. Almost a steal from the Blazers. Schroeder needs to get it off with 1 second left. They will not get it off. Kuzma made the shot, but it was not in time. So, a 9-point lead for the Lakers. Headed into the fourth quarter, the final quarter of the game, as we see the conclusion of the game coming up right here on Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt. If you're just joining us, welcome. You are here for the conclusion of the game. Fourth quarter is just about to get started. The Lakers have a 9-point lead over the Portland Trailblazers after a large run that got the Lakers back in the game after the second half. It's pretty interesting, actually, because the Lakers started slow in that first half, and I said that was pretty detrimental because their rebounding game was really off to start the game, and now we see the second half start, and the Blazers were playing the exact same way. It was sort of a slow start for the Portland Trailblazers, and the Lakers took advantage of it. Now, they tried to get back towards the end of that third quarter, but now the Blazers have 9 points to make up if they want to win this game in the fourth quarter, and that's a lot of points to make up against the LeBron James Lakers team, who, even though they don't have Anthony Davis, they're not as good when they're not with Anthony Davis. I said before the game started that they're nothing without Anthony Davis, and they can prove right now that they have an identity without Anthony Davis, that LeBron can will his team on to win a few games. All right, we're back in the Staples Center. Oh, John Mark would like me to advertise something for him real quick, so I'm going to show his comment. John Mark has made a new show called The John Mark Stivers Show, where he recaps NBA and NBA news every morning. So if you guys want to go check that out on YouTube, go ahead and check that out. The John Mark Stivers Show on YouTube. Fourth quarter is getting ready to get underway. Should be an exciting quarter. All right. Fourth quarter is getting ready to get started. Can the Blazers come back from a 9-point deficit to beat the Lakers, or will the Lakers hold on and win their second game in the last 6, I believe, since Anthony Davis has been out? 85-76 is the score right now. Under the basket, Montrezl Harrell makes it an 11-point game, 87-76, and the Lakers pick up right where they left off. Rodney Hood on the other end, guarded by Horton Tucker. Dame Dalla, guarded by Schroeder. Jab step. From the logo, Damien shot it. Terrible shot at this point in the game from Damien Lillard. I don't know what he was thinking. Horton Tucker on the other end. Harrell in the post. Drives in. Harrell, no good. Rebound by Covington. Melo on the other end. Shot. No good. Dennis Schroeder on the other end. And he will get fouled and go to the line for 2. 10 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. They can make it a 13-point game if Dennis Schroeder makes both of these free throws, and they can just run away with it even more. Dame apparently didn't like the call, as Schroeder will go to the line for two, looking to make it a 12-point game. And he will make it a 12-point game. Schroeder now. Second free throw is up. It's good. They now lead by 13 points. 89-76 with 10 minutes to play in the game. Rodney Hood, guarded by Horton Tucker, gets it to Melo, who's guarded by Morris. Melo down low, looked for a pass. Stoppage of play. The ball will remain in Portland possession. I think it was a kicked ball violation. Ball is inbounded. Carmelo Anthony to Damien Lillard in the post. Turns on Schroeder. Oh, he broke Schroeder's ankles and makes a mid-range shot. Down by 11 of the Portland Trail Blazers now 89-78. Dame Dalla, that was nasty. On the other end, Schroeder tried to draw a foul. Will stay in Lakers' possession. It will be a blocking foul, they'll call it. That was a nasty move by Dame Dalla. Made Schroeder fall. Horton Tucker, the inbound to Morris. Tucker from the outside. No good. Rebound, Cantor to Covington to Lillard. Lillard off a screen. Looks down low to Cantor. Cantor to Hood. Hood for three. No good. Rebound, Harrell to Schroeder. Schroeder penetrating to Horton Tucker. Horton Tucker drives in. Turnaround. Hook shot. It's good. It is now back to a 13-point lead for the LA Lakers. 9 minutes left in the game, and the Lakers look to be running away with this one. Dame Dalla guarded by Schroeder from the outside. Drives in. Cantor down low. Gets the bucket. It's an 11-point game. Horton Tucker on the other end. Guarded by Rodney Hood. Montrezl Harrell on top of the key. Kuzma drives in a floater, and they will call it an offensive foul. (91-80) is the score. If the Portland Trail Blazers score here, they can bring it back within 10, and LeBron James will be back on the court to try and close this game out in the next 9 minutes, or in the last 9 minutes of the game. Damien Lillard, guarded by Schroeder on the perimeter, drives in. Lillard under the bucket, kicks it out. And a traveling violation maybe on Covington. I don't really know what happened there. Chunker315 in the chat, thank you so much for joining. It is 91-80 LA Lakers right now with 9 minutes left in the game. Schroeder has the ball, driving in. An easy layup for Schroeder. Make that a 13-point lead for the Lakers. They are just dominating this second half. The Portland Trail Blazers need an answer now. Trent for three. No good. Rebound, Harrell to Schroeder. Looking to make it a 15-point game now. James on the other end goes in. Oh my God, it's good. 15-point lead for the Lakers, and that is about all she wrote. 8 minutes left, a 15-point lead. The Blazers need to start the comeback now, and I don't think they can. I think this game is over. As we take a commercial break. And it seemed like on that layup, the Trailblazers weren't even trying. Like, James just, like, blew by him and put the layup up, and it was good. I mean, this is just, like, this is bad for the Portland Trailblazers because the Lakers are not only on a roll, but they are just pounding the inside right now. It's been a very, very bad second half for the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers played a very, very good first half, and in contrast, they played a bad second half, and it's coming back to bite them because the Lakers are now ahead by 15 points with about 8 minutes left in the game. And I do not foresee the Blazers coming back from a 15-point deficit with 8 minutes left. They needed to take the timeout, but they need to do something out of this timeout or else the game's over. All right, we are back in LA. LeBron James has 23 points tonight, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Another great game for LeBron. As the Lakers look to close this game out and win in the next 8 minutes. Cantor to Lillard. Lillard gets a screen from Cantor. Lillard for 3. No good. Rebound, Horton Tucker to James. James on the other end. Fast break, guarded by Hood. Morris for 3. No good. Rebound, Cantor. Gary Trent Jr. gets a screen from Cantor. Jr. Floater. It's good. 13-point game. The Lakers are now up by 13. Caruso brings the ball up on the other end. LeBron James, guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. Caruso rolls around the screen, back out to Morris. In the post, Harrell, guarded by Cantor. Jab step, turns, fires. Harrell, no good. Rebound, Damien Lillard. Lillard bringing the ball up the court. Gets a screen from Cantor. Lillard, back out to Covington. Gets a screen from Covington. Double teamed. To Covington again. Covington almost from the logo. Another terrible shot by the Blazers. I do not know what they were thinking there. They need to take smarter shots. There's 6 minutes left in the game. It is a 13-point lead for the Lakers. Horton Tucker drives in. A floater off the glass. No good. Rebound Cantor. And the Lakers are there to meet him on the other end. They can't get any fast breaks right now for some reason. That's Gary Trent Jr. guarded by LeBron James driving in. Takes a shot over LeBron. No good. And it is going to be Lakers possession. Cantor got the offensive rebound and lost it. This is just a sloppy second half for the Portland Trailblazers. And it's looking like they're going to lose this game. Right now, 13 points is the margin, but it could grow. Caruso to Schroeder. Schroeder on the corner. To James. James, who is guarded right now by Lillard. A mismatch. Jab step for James. Creates a little space. Steps back. No good. Rebound Cantor. To Lillard. Lillard driving up the court. A 3 for Lillard. No good. Again from almost the logo. It's like they're not even trying. He shot it from the Staples Center logo that time. A poor shot again for the Trailblazers, and now it is 97-82, a 15-point game. I do not know what is going on with the Portland Trailblazers. They took 2 shots in a row from the logo. It's almost like they don't care. Trent Jr. for 3, he knocks that one down. It's a 12-point game now. 12-point Laker lead, 97-85. Right now, if I could give the Portland Trailblazers a piece of advice, it's don't shoot from the Staples Center logo. Like, why would you take a shot from the Staples Center logo when you're down 15 and trying to come back? 87-95 is the score. Lakers up 12. Portland in possession, looking to make it a 10-point game. A 3 would bring it back within 9. Trent for 3. No good. A rebound. Caruso. Schroeder on the outside, guarded by Hood. And they're going to call it a foul. It's going back to Portland. On an offensive foul. A Portland timeout. Wow. In the chat, Chunker315 says, love the Staples Center. Love the Staples Center comment. I mean, dude, I don't even know what to say. If you're watching the game, first we have Dame Dalla taking a 3-pointer from the Staples Center logo. Gary Trent comes down the court, takes a 3-pointer from the Staples Center logo. If you're down 15 points, it is blasphemous for them to take 3-pointers from the logo. You're not going to make a 3-pointer from the logo, especially when you're down 15. You're just handing them the game at that point. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, sure, Damien Lillard has in the gym range, but you can't shoot from the Staples Center logo. There's no point in that. There is literally no point in shooting from the Staples Center logo when you're down 15. It is stupid. It is not a good shot to take. Finally, Gary Trent Jr. took the shot from the wing and made it, but why would you just can't. It is not the right play. That's the equivalent, Kevin, because I know you played high school basketball. That's the equivalent of you guys being down 10 with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and one of your teammates coming down and shooting from the half-court logo. Like, why? It's almost like they wanted to hand him it was so weird. Dame Dalla came down, shot it from the Staples Center logo. The Lakers went down, they missed. Gary Trent Jr. came back up the other way, shot it from the Staples Center logo. It's crazy. I have no words for the way the Portland Trail Blazers are playing in this second half right now. I have no words. They took yet another timeout where I would assume the Portland Trail Blazers coach is telling them to stop taking shots from the Staples Center logo and start taking smart shots if they actually want to win the game. And again, it's not to say that Damien Lillard doesn't have in the gym range, because he does. But when you're down 15 with 9 minutes left, I mean, it's possible you could make a comeback. But you're not going to make a comeback if you start shooting from the logo. All right. We are back in LA at the Staples Center. James under the basket. That's another layup. My word, there's 4 minutes left in the game. It's a 14-point lead for the LA Lakers right now. This is just a mauling by the LA Lakers. Taking it up the court right now is Robert Covington to Dame Dalla. Gets a screen from Caruso. Bounces off the screen. Still guarded by Caruso. Drives in. Trent Jr. from the outside. All sorts of coverage over him. Rebound by Cantor. Cantor puts it back up. He's going to go to the line for 2. Even then, right there, we just saw Gary Trent Jr. taking a 3. He had all sorts of coverage over him. The guy was right in his face. You got to at least try and dribble around him and make a dribble move to create some space if you want to take a 3. You cannot just start forcing 3s up when you're down 14 points with 4 minutes left. That is not how you're going to win this game. Enes Kanter's first 3 throw. Misses. That doesn't help either. If he makes this one, they're down 13. Right now, and I hardly ever say this, the Portland Trail Blazers deserve to lose this game because of the way they're playing. He missed both of them. They're still down 14. 4 minutes left. Caruso takes the ball up. Guarded by Dame Dalla. Guarded by Gary Trent Jr. Tried to take a charge there. It did not work. It was a blocking foul on Gary Trent Jr. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. LeBron, guarded by... it was blocked. Kuzma got the ball back. It stays in Lakers' possession. LeBron was being guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. And the ball got stolen. Then it got tipped back out of bounds from the Portland Trail Blazers. Working on Derrick Jones Jr. James, creating a little space, driving in, turns, fades, fires. That is good. It is now a 16-point lead for the Lakers, and you guys, you can just pretty much chalk this game up right now. There is no way that the Blazers are coming back. They're just playing a terrible game. Kuzma to Caruso. Caruso stepped out of bounds. It'll be Blazers possession. 3 minutes. All right, so the Blazers now have 3 minutes to put 16 points up. With the way they're playing, there is no doubt in my mind that they are not going to put 16 points up in the next 3 minutes. Melo for 3. No good. That was almost from the logo. Kuzma with the rebound. Schroeder bringing the ball back up in transition. 3 minutes and 18 seconds left in the game. Kuzma. Back to James. James guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. They're going to hold for the shot clock. They're just wasting time now. James fires. No good. Rebound, Gary Trent Jr. To Damien Lillard. Damien Lillard from the Staples Center logo. He made it. Damien Lillard actually made a 3 from the logo. He took it and he made it. If he would have missed, again, I would have said it was a stupid shot anyway. And even though he made it, it was a stupid shot. But he made it from the logo. It is now a 13-point lead for the Lakers with 2 minutes left in the game. And this one is just about all she wrote. James creates a little space, fades away, fires, no good. Rebound, Gary Trent Jr. Back to Dame Dalla. He took another one from the logo. He missed again. They've got to stop shooting from the logo. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's not doing you any good to shoot from the logo. You're not going to come back anyways, but that was the reason originally. They're down 13. Offensive rebound. Schroeder for 3. No good. This game is all she wrote. Damian Lillard took 2 threes in a row from the logo. He made one, he missed another one. I don't know what to say. Right? If my team is down 15, first of all, with 8 minutes left, I'm not shooting from the logo. I'm actually going to try and put some smart threes up, create a little space and shoot some threes. That's fine, but make sure that you have space. Take the educated shot. Another logo 3, that's an air ball. That's their 3rd logo 3 in a row. Unbelievable. That's their 7th 3 that they've taken from the logo this quarter. And that's right. You guys that are watching right now, that you heard that correctly. They've taken 7 threes from the logo. They've made 1. They're 1 from 7 from 3-point range in the logo, or the Staples Center logo. That's a little bit ahead of the Lakers logo at the half court. Lillard drives in. That's a layup. It is now an 11-point lead for the Lakers with a minute left to play. And guys, this one is all she wrote. The Lakers are going to get their second win in the past, I believe, 6 games since Anthony Davis got hurt. To finish it out, Kuzma gets a screen from James. James, guarded by Dame Dollar, creates a little space. James driving in. He'll go to the line for 2 with 46 seconds remaining in the game. Unbelievable second half. The Lakers are going to pull away with the win. I wonder if the Blazers wouldn't have taken 7 logo threes in that fourth quarter, if they actually would have been in contention to win this game. You never know. James made his first free throw. He's getting ready for his second free throw. Tomorrow night, the Mavericks head to Brooklyn to play the Nets. This is the only game I will be calling this weekend, though, guys. Looks like they're dealing with an injury to Caruso's hand. Ooh. Caruso cut his hand open a little bit there. .46 seconds left in the game. They take Damien Lillard out. They're sitting Damien Lillard. And this is basically the Blazers are just thrown in the towel at this point. Portland's going to drop to 5th. They're just going to stay at 5th right now. They're now 18-13. James, second free throw. He's been about 50% from free throws tonight. His second free throw, he missed his second free throw. He's still 50%, but he got the rebound. James got the offensive rebound. And they're going to let the shot clock run down. James backing down the defender. Turns, fires. No good. Air ball. 31 seconds left in the game. Blazers for 3. It's good. 9-point game now with 24 seconds left, but I'm afraid it's too late. And the Lakers are going to dribble this one out. And that is going to be the game. 102-93 will be your final here in Los Angeles. All I can say is wow. That's the only word that comes to mind right now for me is wow when watching that second half with all the logo threes, but I talked about that. So that has been your coverage of the Portland Trail Blazers at the LA Lakers. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like and subscribe button and just to see more streams just like this one. And I will see you guys Wednesday for my news show right here on Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt. Get your latest in the MLB, NBA, and NFL. I will see you guys Wednesday afternoon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.